Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. I have a very interesting lady here, and I can't wait to dive into our conversation. But let me tell you just a little bit about her before we get started. So, Angela Legh is a beacon for families seeking emotional clarity and confidence. Through her books, teachings, and heartfelt guidance, she empowers children and adults to understand their emotions, navigate life's storms, and grow stronger together. Her work turns emotional resilience into an everyday superpower. I loved everyday superpowers. Hi, Angela. Thank you for
Hello.
I thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much. Did you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Well, sure. I have been through a lot, which is why I understand emotional processing so much. I lived through a wildfire when I was a kid, and when I was 5 years old, um, my family lost everything, and
Oh.
I was sent to live with some strangers for a while. So that was traumatic for the little me. And then when I was 54 years old, I lost my house to another wildfire. And that was traumatic for me. So,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
That is very traumatic.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Twice in one lifetime. That shouldn't happen.
You would,
No. Oh. Can you just give us a bit of a overview of what is emotional resilience?
you know, so a lot of people understand what emotional intelligence is.
Hmm.
Emotional intelligence is understanding your emotions, where they come from, what and how to deal with them. But what emotional intelligence promotes is to regulate and manage emotions. Emotional resilience is a step beyond that, because what we teach in my method of emotional resilience is how to process emotions.
Hmm.
And for me, the difference is because emotions are energy, and energy must flow. So if we
Ah.
push it down and repress emotions, we create all kinds of troubles for ourselves and the people around us.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Wow.
Yeah.
Can you tell us from my research, you had a tough go as a child. Obviously, you just mentioned something
Some
extremely
of it.
traumatic
Yeah.
that you had to deal with, but you also mentioned some bullying, um, being scared, feeling small. What part of that little girl still lives in you today, or does any part of
She's
it?
very active.
It's
Yeah.
just very active.
um, yeah, she likes candies.
Yeah, I bet.
Right. Um,
Yeah.
so that was like the basis for what I do in teaching families how to deal with emotions, because my father was a raging alcoholic, and rage was the active word in his behavior. Uh, it wasn't until I was an adult and I was talking to my aunt. She said, "Oh, Jimmy was such a sensitive child." And I was like,
Mm.
what?
Yeah.
That guy who was a monster in my house was a sensitive guy. But then it like all connected in my mind that he chose to drink to numb the feelings
Mm.
that he didn't want to feel. Those feelings came from him being a sensitive child in 1925, a boy, not acceptable,
No.
not accepted. And so it's like this whole generational trauma thing that I had to figure out how to deal with.
Wow. Wow. That's Yeah, that's tough. And you're so right because that generation, you didn't talk about your feelings, and
Oh no.
especially if you were male. It,
And even, when I was growing up, boys were told not to cry. Don't cry.
yes.
Don't
Yeah.
cry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. What are you, a girl?
exactly.
Yeah.
Be a
Oh,
man, for gosh.
yes. Yes. Yeah.
It's very traumatic for children to be told to devalue and disengage from their emotions.
Yeah. Wow. So true. Tell, I'm just curious about the two fires that you lived through. Um, what did they teach you, or did they teach you anything at all? How did they help you in your resilience?
I In the long run, yes, they both did help me in my resilience. The first one really didn't teach me anything of value. I was 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
So, how could I truly process any wisdom out of that?
Yeah.
Um, the second one taught me that it is only the relationships in life that truly matter, that material things are replaced, even if they're antiques, even if they're mementos, it doesn't matter. They're replaceable. And the relationships, so the quality of the relationships you accept into your life.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, what a great lesson.
Yeah.
Not great to have to go through that to learn it, but it's it's actually humbling to hear you say it because I've never lost anything in a fire, knock on wood.
Amen.
And yeah, and but to hear that and that you went through that and twice lost everything, but you realize what was really important is it's yeah, it's a beautiful lesson for other people.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, the other people, not for you. No, but yeah.
Actually, the second fire was the catalyst for me.
Mm.
Um, because I looked at my life. I was 54 years old. I was in an unhappy, toxic marriage. And I looked at my life and I said, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And I heard no. So I
Yeah.
immediately made several changes, including retiring from my government job, leaving my marriage. And then I moved to England just because it's so wet there. They don't have wildfire.
Aw. This is true.
And they speak English. So it
Yes, they
was all.
do.
Plus, it was a great, it gave me great insights because as a society, England is very emotionally repressed. They're
Mhm.
taught we don't let people see what we feel. Keep a stiff upper lip, keep calm and
Right.
carry on. It's like part of the lexicon. And
Yeah.
one day I was teaching a meditation class, doing a guided meditation of feeling the joy from childhood. So, remember when you were a child and you were playing with your friends, you were running through the fields, maybe you were swinging on the swings, maybe you did this. And remember that feeling of joy and happiness and feel it bubbling up inside you. And one man sat straight up and he said, I don't know how to feel. I'm like,
Oh.
oh, of course. Let
Oh.
me help you.
Yeah. Oh, but wow, what a realization for him.
Yeah,
And brave to speak up like that, not just,
absolutely.
pretend that he was doing it, but to actually speak
But to
up.
to say, yeah, to bring word to, really, it's a whole societal problem
Yeah.
of being, because when you cannot access your feelings, you're disconnected from yourself.
Mm-hmm. So what about this side of the ocean. What about over here? I'm in Canada. You're in the US,
I'm
right?
in, yeah, Taos, New Mexico.
Yeah. So what about us North Americans?
It depends on what part of North America you live in. It depends, like New England is fairly repressed and California is more open, but it depends on the family environment where emotions accepted or not.
Right.
And it depends on the gender because for men, pretty much the only acceptable emotion is happiness or anger. And that's it.
Right. Wow. Yeah. No, you're right. I remember I can think about that with my father and my stepfather years and years ago.
Mhm.
Those were the emotions.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what they showed. So, how do you explain so how do you live in a marriage and still keep your resilience up when you're not happy or if it's abusive? What do people do? How do you keep that resilience going?
It's not there, really. The resilience is not because, in my experience, I swallowed my truth.
Mm,
I did anything to keep the peace, which meant not speaking my truth, not speaking what I felt. And there's no resilience in that. By the time I was married for 32 years in that marriage,
mm.
by the time I finally pulled the plug on it, I didn't even know who I was. I couldn't say what I wanted because I was so disconnected from who I was.
Wow. So you had to build yourself from scratch.
I did. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Still an ongoing process.
Well, I think we are until we're no longer here.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think what was the first moment in your in the emotional abuse in your marriage when you realized this isn't love?
You know, I don't know that I can even pin it back to a first moment. There were times when um, I was abused emotionally for stepping up for our children. There were times when I was abused for disagreeing with him. Um, Basically, in that marriage, I was at fault for everything,
Mm,
and it's it slowly eats away at your self-esteem and at your understanding of who you are when you allow yourself to accept that for as long as I did.
yeah. So what helped you to finally speak up? If was it that second fire? Was that just the almost like
Oh,
the universe saying, "Here you go, clean slate."
like knock me on the head.
Yeah.
we've been calling you, you're not answering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
eventually they get our attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And truly what that wildfire did is the Tubbs wildfire in the wine country of California. Um, what it did was cause me to go into a dark night of the soul where I was questioning my existence, my
Mm,
choices, everything. And if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am now. And now I have a very supportive and truly unconditional love marriage. I
yeah.
can't tell you how good it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, a lot of us face that. We
Mhm.
have that. It's like, are you going to pivot? What are you going to do?
Right.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to go
When
out there and do that.
when you have put someone else's needs in front of your own for 32 years, it's really hard to take that step and say, I'm going to choose my needs now.
Yeah. Yeah. So you, there was probably no emotion for you by the end.
Oh, I had a lot of emotion. It's yeah, the emotional repression in my life started when I was a child. My father was very angry and I wasn't going to be like him.
Hmm.
So I think I was 3 or 4 when I decided I can't get angry.
Mm,
And, that led me, that emotional repression decision led me to make some of the choices in my life, including marrying my former husband.
yeah.
It led me to accept the behavior that I accepted. And I'm not saying that it's the fault of, what some people would call the victim in a toxic relationship, but there's two people involved and it can't
Hmm.
be all on the one person. So
No.
there is something in what your choices are, what you're accepting that is causing you to be continue in that.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think was your biggest emotional lie that you had to let go of?
That I wasn't worthy of love.
Oh, oh, making me teary-eyed now. Oh, and so many people believe, so women, well, men too,
And
but
two, it's
yeah,
the biggest lie that
yeah,
any parent gives their child. It's like, oh my God, how can you do that to a child?
yeah, yeah. Wow. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you
That
being
was the
open like
mic
that.
drop, right?
Yeah, that was a mic drop. Yes, thank you. Yeah. So, what does resilience look like on the messy, exhausted days for people or for
Mm.
yourself?
And this is interesting because people think resilience is strength. Resilience is the ability to bend. So it
Mm,
means that yesterday, when my website was hacked and I was having to be knee deep in code, which I am not a coder, and I'm trying to figure out how to get into my website. And I reached the point where I'm just like,
yeah.
and I just want to, go outside and cry. And I do because that's me allowing my emotions to flow. But I have the tools to know how to allow what people call a negative emotion. To me, it's just a difficult emotion. To allow that without having to go into a deep rabbit hole of pain.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things that I teach kids in my fairy tales is a, an emotional processing tool that I call the feel and free method.
Hmm.
You feel the feeling, you name it, and then you give yourself permission to feel it. So you allow it. Feel, name, allow. Very simple. And the underlying science behind it is that the biochemistry of an emotion is 90 seconds.
Oh,
I know. It's like, wait, why did I feel like that for an hour?
yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you why. It's because our minds circle on the circumstances. Our minds will replay the circumstances over and over. And that is why we go into the rabbit hole. But with the feel and free method, you're focusing on the feeling instead of the circumstances. So your mind is already
Ah,
engaged,
yes.
and then the feeling has the freedom to move. It moves in 90 seconds and you're done. until your mind returns to the circumstances.
Yes. Oh, that makes complete sense. So
Yeah.
what were those three things again? So
Feel, name, allow.
feel, lame, name, allow.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
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 And the reason why name is in there is because you're acknowledging to your body, to yourself, that, yes, I'm feeling this.
Yeah.
And then when you allow, yes, it's understandable why I feel this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you
So
go,
you were an author, which we didn't
mhm,
mention in the beginning.
yeah,
And so you've got some books out there, and you also you teach or
yeah,
help parents
yeah, I
in
do.
parenting. So let's talk a little bit about that. How did that evolve into your life?
So it all started with me writing these really sweet fairy tales. They're written for middle grade kids, so 8, 9 to 12. Um, at that time of their life, they're going through so much in physical and emotional development that they really need the extra help. Um, and when I was done writing, I realized that even if the kids got an understanding of all the things that I'm teaching in the books, if they're raised in an environment where they're not supported, then they can't truly become, who they're meant to be without having to go through all the things that I went through in order to
Yes.
heal myself.
Yeah.
So the idea in teaching parents, because I know my generation never learned how to process
Mm-hmm.
emotions.
Mm-hmm.
My kids' generation did not learn how to process
Yes.
emotions. And so it's like, well, let's give the parents the tools so that they can provide the environment of emotional safety for their kids.
Mm-hmm. And so do you do this one-on-one or is this group teaching? How do you go about that?
My main outlet is through writing. So
Oh.
my blog on my website, angelalegh.com. I should spell it because it is spelled weird. It's ANGELALEGH.com.
Yes. Yeah.
And forgive the bug that's on it right now.
Yes. You'll get rid of it.
I'll get it. I'll fix it.
Yeah.
Um, so my blog gives parents a lot of information about how to create emotional safety, why emotional safety is important, why emotional resilience is important, and the difference between emotional intelligence and emotional resilience. And then there's a whole bunch of blog posts for teachers because when a child is raised in an environment where there's no emotional safety, the only place they can get it is in the classroom.
Mm. Wow. And so I saw the fairy tale book, so
Mhm.
I knew you did that. But do you actually have books available that parents can go and purchase and to read, or is it just more blogs?
I have articles in the Los Angeles Tribune. I have a column in the Los Angeles Tribune called
Oh,
Unfiltered Parenting.
oh,
And I also have an unfiltered parenting television show on Binge Networks that teaches all the same things.
wow.
So
And so how does somebody find that television show that you're hosting?
if you go to bingetv.com, you can sign up, subscribe to Binge TV, and they have a whole range of shows beside mine.
Oh, yeah.
And my show is on the Trailblazer Network. So
Ah.
once you sign up as a subscriber to Binge TV, then you have to find the Trailblazer Network, and then you'll find my show.
And is there a link on your website? to that?
Not yet, but I should add it, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just so everybody knows that we'll have as much information as we can in the show notes for you so that you'll be able to find Angela, be able to get onto her website and read her articles or look at the books, or hopefully we can track her down and find her and watch her show. I'm definitely going to connect up because I didn't even know what binge TV was. I asked that
Uh,
before we started recording. So,
well, and on my website, angelalee.com, on the parenting resource page is, I think there's 32 episodes, full hour-long episodes of a TV show that I previously did called Children's Lives Matter. So that's a good place
oh,
to start.
that is a good place to start. Absolutely, absolutely. We'll make sure that we note that in the show notes for sure.
Thank you.
So I want to ask for women that are listening right now who may still be inside their trauma. Maybe they're too afraid to speak up. They're quiet. What's your message to them?
Well, first off, I understand the being afraid to speak up, because when you walk on eggshells, the slightest thing can set someone off.
Mhm.
I really understand what you're going through. And it it's really important for you to choose yourself, because you were made by God. You were made in in this world to be a beacon of light. And you cannot be the light that you are when someone else is trying to squash your light.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
there's help out there, in your community. Access the help, get the help you need, and get out.
Mhm. Thank you. So, one last question. What's a legacy that you hope to leave through your books, your show, and your voice?
Mm. I think the biggest legacy I would love to leave is for every kid to understand that they are magic, that the
Mhm.
magic that they have is in their gratitude, in their presence, in the love that they have. And you don't need a wand, you don't need a spell, you just need to choose the state of gratitude or choose a state of presence. And
Mhm.
that's where the magic is.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, Angela, I loved our conversation. We had
Thank
some highs,
you.
we had some lows, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it was great. It was great, and I really do appreciate you coming on and sharing what you know and what you've learned over the years with others, and there's always I always say, for me, even, I learn from all of you. Every time I get to speak to somebody, I've had a little aha. Even with you, I've got, oh, yeah, there's a little aha in my head. And yeah, and I don't need to have my house burned down to listen.
It's
So yeah,
there.
yeah, so I do appreciate that. And as I say, everyone, we will have links to the website. We'll put all the links we can in there so that you're able to track her down, and reach out to Angela, or you find her resources anyway, because it sounds like she's got a lot of available resources to help people in lots of different ways. Any last words, Angela?
You know, a lot of people tend to beat themselves up when they maybe didn't have the opportunity to learn something. And one of the last words I almost always do is give yourself grace,
Mm,
because even if you didn't know this before, you know it now.
yeah.
You can step forward from here. And truly tap into the magic of life.
Wow. Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it so much. Well, everyone, that's the end of this episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you again next time. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.